up and I saw miles of love in the sky. I looked up and I saw miles of love in the sky. All right, I'm very excited to show you this new Vocal FX rack I've made for Ableton Live 12.1 because now we've got a really cool device called the Auto Shift, which is an auto tune, and I'm using that in this rack as well as some stacks for that to make harmonies and lots of effects that are great for a live performance but also in the studio. So let me show you a little. First, we've got on the very first button here, or the knob, is an InTune or Auto Tune button. So I've mapped that to a button right here on my APC40, and now I'm in tune when I sing in the key of C major, which is the key of our session. So it's just going to follow that, which is really nice. So you just turn it on, and you're in tune. The next few controls you'll see are for harmonies, and I've got a control to turn all of the harmonies on, just like that. And now when I sing, everything's in tune, and I got harmonies that I can control with a master volume right here. The master volume is within the rack. Let me show you that. That's right here. I've mapped that control to this knob on my APC40. And the button here is mapped to this one that just turns this on and off. So I recommend you map that to a button. That's going to control all these switches right here for our harmonies. So I've done this by making this rack that has the auto shift that my main voice is going through, which you're seeing right here. And I'm in auto tune mode as I'm talking. I can turn that off with just this button here, which is mapped to that first macro. Next, we've got this volume controlling the chains for our 3 harmonies. So we've got 1, 2, 3 different harmonies here. And that's an octave up, a third up, and a fifth up. I can turn them all on with this button that's mapped to the harms on knob. And then following each one of these is a utility that is mapped to one of these controls. So we're playing around with the fifth right here. And you can see the gain is moving there. So that's allowing us to control the different levels of our harmonies. So if I sing, I've got control over all of these harmonies now, one by one. This is just the octave. Take it down, here's a third, here's a fifth on top, and turn them all down with the one knob there. So there we go. All those harmonies, right? Super fun to access. So I'm doing a lot of fun things where I'm like maybe singing a line like da 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 da, you know? So you can just fade them in like that. Next thing I want to show you is just a delay. So this gives you some delay. These are all mapped now to some other controls, which I'll show you here. We've got the delay, and it's also playing around with the repitch in the delay, so we get that like, whoa, that's the reverb, the delay. So you get those fun twisty delays with pitch shifting. Next is the reverb. It's called reverb dull because I'm also cutting out some of the top end, which makes me sound far away. And if we go in more subtle areas, it's just a nice reverb, big room. The delay is kind of fun at really small values. It's like a slapback, which you're hearing now. Crank it up, and it lasts longer. It goes back and forth, ping-ponging. Cool. Beat, repeat. So it's just a beat, repeat, and a pitch control. And something kind of cool about that pitch control is it's before the auto tune. So when I have auto tune on and I sing, it kind of lets you stay in key a little bit with those effects. So those are fun to make like delays that sort of repeat after a while. All right, next up, we're on the second row here. So this is low man voice. So I've got my auto tune, and we can crank this knob up, and I start to get form shifting, so I get low man voice. I have this mapped to a button right here. So I just click this button, and then I've turned on low man voice. I don't really need so much like, you know, the kind of different levels of low man. I kind of like all or nothing. So that's how I have it mapped here on the APC 40. We talked about the harmonies on, and I've also got a vocoder, which I'm going to show you because that's really cool. You're going to want to see that. But first, I'm going to go to telephone voice, which is right here. Telephone voice. It just cuts out the low and high frequencies. So now I sound like I'm singing to you on a telephone. There you go. Cool. There's a chorus button. So this widens my voice and kind of gives it more space in the mix. So it's nice for choruses. It's just chorus, though. I've got something called the one-word delay. So I can put a delay on just one word, and the one word gets delayed, and then I just press the button again, and the delay goes away. So it's really nice when I just want to emphasize one word, put delay on that one word, and all the other words remain undelayed. And there's two different speeds. There's the slower one, hey, and the faster one, ha, ha, right? So just some really cool ways to just press a button, turn on a delay, and then turn it off. So you're singing your song and you're having a good time, and you turn it off and the delay keeps on going. We've got a volume, and this is designed for automation. So I've talked about this in another video with my channel strip, so I'm just going to refer you to that video right now so you can see how the volume automation knob works. But it basically allows you to write automation for volume with this control, freeing up your volume fader so that you're not losing your automation every time you try to adjust your volume fader. Now, let me take you to the vocoder. So on this Harmonies chain here, we've got a vocoder, which I'll open up here. There it is. And it's connected to this track right here with this, I call this like a BF vocoder synth. It's just a synth setting that I have that I think sounds kind of nice with the vocoder. So I've got this control mapped to this button right here on my APC 40. So when I press this button, it turns on the vocoder and cuts out my voice. So you'll notice. And it's also mapped to the track header here because I want my push to be selected when I press that button so that I can play on the vocoder. So I'm going to turn a little delay, maybe even a little chorus here, and I'm going to press the vocoder button. And now I'm doing vocoding, just like that, really easy to do. And I press it again, and I'm no longer vocoding. Press it again. Here we go, here we go. And you'll notice I have this track muted so that when I play this, we don't hear the synth. We don't want to hear that synth. It's not important. What's important is that the synth is being received over here on the carrier of the vocoder. So if you're setting this up, this might be a little bit of setup you need to do. When you open this up, select external, audio from whatever track you have a synthesizer on. And then on this track, you're going to be able to play your sound when you press vocoder button, vocoder button, vocoder button, vocoder button. Yeah, 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 yeah. And that's the rack. It's quite a lot of fun. I might just play it out a little bit for you so you can just hear what's going on. I'm just kind of made some chords up and a little beat using my Vapor machine, VHS Vapor machine, and VHS drums. And I'm just kind of improvising over it, just singing and blabbering. But what's fun about this vocal rack is it lets you kind of get lost in just singing and having fun. And you don't have to worry about too much else. So it's available for free download on my site, brianfunk.com. Go get it. It's a lot of fun. It's great for the studio. It's great for a stage. One nice thing, if I hover over this title bar, notice it says latency, 0 samples. That's one of the great things about using all Live's internal devices is that you really get very low latency. This is a fun device, and I'm really happy I get to share it with you now in conjunction with the release of Live 12.1. So have fun and enjoy. All the words I just tried. I got time.